I don't even know how to start this. All right, this is the Salty Boy.
The Salty Boys podcast.
This is the Salty Boys podcast. I am Pete Capuletti. With me is James Milterson.
What's going on?
We are doing this from across the fucking country.
Legitimately across the entire country.
It's been a long time since I've been sitting at a microphone. I mean, you might remember our voices from the Pete and Morty experience.
Pete and Morty. And then Milty got added.
Just add some Milty.
Oh yeah, got to have the crispy one each podcast.
There's a podcast out of Kansas that does it's a beer show that they do that every show. They crack open a beer.
A crispy boy.
Yep. Well, I don't know if it's a crispy boy. It's some kind of beer. So how the hell are you, dude? That's like, we're like...
Dude, so far so good.
It's like we're, 1,500 miles from each other or some shit like that?
I think it's, let's call it 18.
All right, let's call it 18. We'll round up to 18.
Miles. It's 17 and some change. I know that for a fact.
So,
traveled every bit of it.
Well, you have to when you move.
Yeah.
Unless you leave everything and fly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck that.
But you had...
I got personal belongings I like to keep safe.
Yeah, and
I'd rather travel them in a fucking trailer across the highway than
and a girlfriend and animals.
Trust them in TSA's fucking hands.
Why, they wouldn't check them anyway.
Yeet my fucking TV from on top of the plane.
So, like I said, we are the Salty Boys. This is our new podcast on the JP8 Media Network. Website coming soon. And more content coming soon. But this is our first official podcast. It's been a long time. He moved. I had a heart attack.
He had a heart attack. You almost died.
Yeah, I almost died twice. And I still haven't learned my lesson. No, I haven't. I've actually...
haven't learned my lesson.
I'm actually fucking sober. I've been sober for almost a year. No weed, no cigarettes, a little bit of booze, but I've never been really a big drinker anyway, so...
Yeah. I've not been sober. I have not. But that's okay.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's funny that you're doing it, though, in a state that is not legal in anymore. I mean, how does that go? I mean, you had the comforts of Colorado, now the discomfort of Virginia.
And now, now we're in Virginia, out here in Virginia.
You can't smoke weed, but you can kill babies.
Definitely want to come back to the mountain zone.
Well, that's kind of like the idea. You got plans on doing that, so...
That's the plan. But just working, making money out here while I can.
That's what you got to do, Because you don't know what state this country's going to be in a couple months.
No kidding, dude. It could go... I mean, we're pretty feeling good with with Trump, for sure. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
not with what's being shown so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you never know what's going to happen, though. You know how they...
Exactly.
I mean,
all of the fucking different ways that you can rig this shit. I mean, Bernie's already been busted down on freaking Russian involvement. Yeah.
Well, they're due. I mean, they just went to the Russia playbook for Bernie that they were using on Trump. I mean, it's the almost exact same arguments they're having for Bernie as they did what they did for Trump 3 years ago. Or 4 years ago. 3.5 years ago, whatever it is.
Bloomberg called him out for that, didn't he, in this last...
yeah, he said something.
Little debate.
Bloomberg just is like a dickhead, though, so...
Old Mini Mike. Pearl guy.
He's just an old dude with too much money with too much time on his hands.
Yeah. He's spending a shit ton of money, too. Literally can't even fathom it.
No, seriously.
I will never make as much money as what he's spent on this election.
Oh, you never know. He hasn't spent billions yet. About $500 million. I
mean, if he's in the millions, though, for sure. And I'm...
Well, I think it's $460 million so far.
Oh, yeah. That's a big step.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you see it on YouTube. Every fucking thing you watch has a Bloomberg ad on it before you can go to the video.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's miserable.
It's like you have to pay for it. You have to pay to get rid of the Bloomberg ads.
Yeah. I've seen so many memes like that floating around too, of like, just I will pay for YouTube Premium or whatever it's called, just to get rid of that Mike Bloomberg shit.
See, I'm cheap. I won't do that. I'll just have to deal with it.
Just have to just mute your phone until something starts playing.
I mean, most of the stuff I watch isn't even on YouTube anymore anyway, because they keep banning stuff. So
facts.
I subscribe to Blaze TV, so I can watch that stuff.
Our boy OMB.
Yeah, but he is truly insane though. So
he's pretty crazy.
I kind of get where they're coming from.
He's hilarious though.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's funny how he goes off the deep end.
And honestly, he has pretty good values in just the sense of, what is it called? Like stage
presence? I don't know what you're talking about.
Like how he's growing his own food and raising goats and,
Oh, yeah. What is that? I don't know what that's called.
I always forget what that's called. But I do appreciate that. Homesteading. There you go.
Yeah.
Homesteading, yeah, boom.
I think that's
exactly what it is.
But I think
I think that we do need to get back to that, because I believe it's one of his stand-ups that he did where he talks about, like, in end of times, fucking apocalyptic situations, like the Amish are just going to rule the world. It's so good.
I think some of his craziness too is a bit of an act. He goes for a little bit of shock value when he does stand up.
Entertainers, right?
Yeah, that's part of the gig. But it does get him banned from everything, though.
Like, I don't think Alex Jones is as crazy as his.
No, he's admitted so much too. He says he does put on an act because he's trying to prove a point sometimes.
His on the air persona.
I mean, I think we all do it. Like anybody
we have to.
Yeah, anyway.
Fuck, that's what they teach you at school.
Oh yeah, especially when you're in an
you're
entertainment
bigger
business.
Than yourself.
Well, you take yourself and you dial it up, because you can't be like that all. I'm sure once the cameras go off, he's not screaming and turning red at everything he does.
Can you imagine like him coming home from a long day of work and his wife sitting there like cooking dinner, and he's like, "Is it ready?" No, it's not ready.
Why are you shadow banning my food?
Punches a hole through the wall, rips his shirt off.
Starts yelling about gay frogs.
Yeah.
It's like, honey, we're just having salad. Calm down.
This is not what the founding fathers have intended.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
Not too funny. But, I mean, it sucks because, they're being banned for free speech.
It truly is. Yeah, like, you should be able to get on YouTube and say whatever you want.
That's what it was designed for.
People are retarded, and I guess you can't say that, but
well, you just
at the same time, people are pretty freaking smart in the sense of they can determine what's real and what's not, and
even if
you should just look shit up for yourself. Well, like if you don't like something you hear, then that's your own issue.
Well, yeah, that's always what. But you have the ability to turn the knob.
You can't silence
off.
somebody just because you don't like what they're talking about.
Well, you can silence them. You just turn it off. You don't need that person in your world.
You don't listen to it. You want to listen to something you want to listen to. It's like, holy shit.
Exactly. But you have things like the Kardashians that have been on TV forever, and Kim Kardashian got famous for sucking dick on camera.
Yeah.
And turned it into a career. It's call it what it is. That's what it is. But if someone has alternative views about something, why does that cause to be a band? But I've always had that issue. It's like the Kardashians made millions of dollars for being gross.
Yeah. Well, I was like I was streaming that game earlier, and you were watching me stream the game, and you're just like, I don't understand how people watch people play games, and these dudes just make millions of dollars in ads and shit, get all famous on Twitch. I'm like, yeah, well, people pay stupid money for stupid things.
Yeah, but this is a purpose there, though. They're playing a game. Yeah. What was the purpose of, was it to be famous, to record yourself blowing some dude and leaking out? Was
that and then you have to live with that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but you live with that. But
my kids might fucking pull up my porn on Pornhub.
Well, if anybody that they go to school with or anything knows who they are, they'll find out about it.
No, they're definitely doing it. They're definitely doing it already. The kids have figured it out.
Well, the kids are stuck with...
Oh, that would be miserable. Could you imagine?
Well, that's why you don't do it. It's funny because can...
Totally. But, could you imagine if you were, like, one of the kids?
Oh, yeah.
You're just, like, at high school, sitting there fucking eating your lunch or whatever, and a bunch of dudes roll up, and they're like, dude, is this your mom? Well, guess I'm changing schools.
Again.
Again, yeah.
You don't want shit to get out there, don't fucking record it. That's the simplest way of,
yeah,
it not happening.
Mom, can you homeschool me, but please put a top on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's got to be weird. See, I come from an age where you could do shit without putting it on the internet. I'm old enough to remember when you
now
didn't
everything's
do that.
on the internet, whether you like it or not.
And it's funny because people always make fun of it, but then people are trying to be famous on the internet. Like, I mean, I'm not going to mince words. We're putting this on the internet.
They just want that clout, bro. They just want that clout.
We live in, I mean, likes are money nowadays. Likes and trending is more valuable than the actual dollar. It's all about that status.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, it's true.
It's insane. Yeah, that's the life we live in, though. We know this. This is what we signed up for by fucking signing the dotted line on those freaking phone agreements, right?
That's true. Everyone wants
and internet and all that shit.
Well, I mean, they have fucking Instagram influencers. People who take pictures influence people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To me, it's insane. Like, I don't really care about what you're eating. Now, if you have a nice ass, it's a whole other story, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. We have a live audio chat in our room for the Salty Boys podcast here on Discord. We'll figure out how to get links out and do all that shit so you guys can hang out with us.
Yeah. See, it's funny because when we were doing Pete and Morty had a little bit more of a budget. And had a little bit more behind the scenes work going on. This is like we took a step back to take a step forward with this new podcast. We're like
bare bones, bro.
Yeah.
We're going bare bones and fucking let's talk to some people and talk about it.
Yeah, because like the other show, it was
get you guys involved because that's one thing that I've always really liked about streaming is live interactions with people. And I figure on a podcast, it would be fucking super badass once we start going live for people.
No, totally. And that's like the whole game. Like the whole, I mean, we've got months right now where we're going to build it up and then, And
people do it on YouTube, people do it on Twitch or whatever. I don't think anybody does it on Discord. Probably fucking way beyond my knowledge there. But
I don't know. I barely know what video games are.
I'm sure a lot of people do.
But like we're going to build this up, right now we're like you said 1,800 miles from each other, but that distance will shorten in a few months.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a little bit easier for us to have video content and going live because we're dealing with different time zones as well too. So it's like we have to.
Yeah, I'm East Coast time, bro.
Yeah, we really have to like coordinate shit. So the show may not be the same day or hour every week for right now, but it will happen every week.
Yeah. Working with that grind lifestyle,
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Well, that's how it works.
I'm sure everybody understands.
But we don't have a website right now. We'll get the website up. We'll get everything going like we had before. It's just going to take some time. Like with Pete and Morty, it took a year to do. It took a year to get to where we were, and then shit just fell apart.
We want to do this shit organic as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Ground up, fucking get those roots in.
That grassroots.
Goddamn right.
As Bernie would say, that grassroots.
That
grassroots campaign.
Yeah. The grassroots.
So
from Vermont.
So speaking of the communist Bernie Sanders, this shit's wild right now.
Old crazy Bernie.
I think it's funny.
They're not gonna I will say till election night if it fucking changes. So whatever. They're not gonna let Bernie fucking in. There's no way the DNC is letting Bernie in.
So do you think that it's going to be Bloomberg then?
I'm calling it right now. There's going to be some sketchy shit happen, and suddenly Bernie won't be eligible, or somebody's just going to fucking overshoot him by a little bit and beat him.
So who do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be Bloomberg?
I think it's going to be Buttigieg, really.
Oh, you do? You think they're going to go with
it really is.
The homosexual?
Yeah. He's going to be riding that coattail for a while, and then he's also riding the fucking military service. Veteran.
Yeah, but
really hard.
It's funny though because you see a lot of it on the internet that a lot of vets call him like a phony vet.
Yeah, well, there's not going to be a lot of backbone there. Obviously, he's not going to have a lot of veteran support. It's just going to be funny how hard he fucking drops that all the time, especially with Trump and his whole Bone Spurs thing. Like, let's be real. But that's going to be such a sight, right? I think it was on that Drinkin' Bros podcast that we listened to. They were talking about how that would just be such a crazy sight of big 6'4" dude, fucking power alpha, getting demasculized by a dude saying, "Well, you never served in the military."
Yeah, but it's like, but if you see the world,
a gay dude, like a little tiny gay dude that served in the military, is just like, "Well, you didn't serve your country."
Yeah, but a lot of people would say he didn't serve his country either, just because he was in the military.
Yeah, they could call him out.
That's the thing, is it's a little bit different in this day and age where the information you can get It's not like you can have to take his word for it. You can look up his military record and see what he actually did.
For sure.
And then you got to go up against Trump, who's done a lot in the last 3 years.
Because I think Warren has just dug herself into a hole, and she's not able to get out of it. She seems just so cringy.
Well, yeah.
And if she has just like a little bit of a win, she just turns it cringe so quick that it's just you need to drop out old Liz.
She's already said
have a beer with your husband.
Yeah, but she said she's not going to. She says she's sticking until like
she's
the very
keep going.
bitter
She's
end.
moving till the end.
As long as she's got kids giving her the last $2.
Bloomberg, he's just fucking basically in the Dark Knight with the Joker burning a big pile of money.
Well, they threw him.
For sure.
Well, they threw him in there because Biden went completely insane.
Yeah, Biden is dementia, it seems.
Yeah, and they've lost all his, he's lost all his support. Now they're putting it behind Bloomberg because they need someone that he can control.
Mm-hmm. Tulsi Gabbard, is still in it, but she hasn't been on any debates.
Yeah, she's the only one that knows she's still in it.
I do like her though.
I do too, but the problem is,
if I had to pick a favorite, but she's not going to. She's not gonna.
She's too much of a centrist, though. That's the problem. She's the left hates her, so that's why she's been buried. Because
she's too much of a normal person.
Yeah, she speaks way too much common sense when it comes to things. I don't
too much. She is too normal. We can't have any of that.
Yeah, I don't agree with everything she says, but I also don't agree with everything that Trump says. But she makes the most sense out of that party.
Well, and everybody's so wrapped up in that right now, like I'm so far right or I'm so far left. It's like, no, dude, we're still same. We're on the same side.
Or just be like a realist. This is my whole issue. Is like I am probably considered more of a conservative.
Yeah.
But I don't really think of everything in a conservative way. I kind of take situation to situation on what's the best for each situation. You can't
for sure. You gotta have that maturity to fucking look into both sides.
Yeah, you can't be a blanket.
Really think for yourself what you honestly think yourself is.
But that's what politics do to you. They separate. They put you against each other.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to agree. Because if you agree, then you realize we have all the power, and these politicians have no power because we outnumber them. 100 to 1.
Like by a lot.
There's
by a lot.
There's 500 and something Congress people, and there's 350 million people. It's not even close. So they divide and conquer, just like racism.
Easy peasy, just like that. And all the while getting rich off of us. And
racism,
making sketchy
classism.
ass deals, and just fucking just laughing their ways to that good easy life.
To the bank, taking our tax money. It's amazing how all these politicians become millionaires when they don't get paid that much.
Dude, for sure.
I mean, it's pretty simple to figure out. It's simple math, Bernie. It's simple math. Just even though you think it's not simple math, it's simple math.
It's simple math. Just like that would be hilarious, though. I would love to see Trump versus Bernie.
Oh, I would love it too. That'd probably be the best, but it's not. I mean,
they should charge pay-per-view for those.
Yeah, I mean,
if they really wanted to capitalize off that shit, they would charge those debates pay-per-view.
I mean, it really could. It could happen.
That would be full idiocracy right there.
Well, I mean,
max idiocracy.
It's idiocracy anyway. I mean, the debates alone. I mean, are fucking clown shit shows.
Yeah.
You hear
they always are
entitled, stupid people telling everybody else how they're supposed to live when none of them have any sense of reality or have ever lived in the real world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to the a cringeable. Nah, that doesn't work. Can't use that name. Elizabeth Warren.
Cringeable Warren.
Cringy Lizzie Cringe.
Well, I
don't know.
I think Trump's Pocahontas is the best.
Let's just be real, Pocahontas.
I think that was.
She's so. I'm gonna have a beer with my husband.
And her husband's just like, get away from me.
Yeah, can I go back to watching whatever I was watching on TV, please?
Yeah, I didn't realize you were home. If I knew you were home, I would have done a couple of laps around the block.
He's like, God damn it. I missed my chance to go get high.
but the video of when she caught the call from the
why did she call? You usually call.
Yeah. Well, she was busy on the Instagram. She's trying to be cool like AOC and having a beer on Instagram. But that's all. Man. That's what the left has become, the party of pandering.
Yep.
That's all they do is like that. The last debate in South Carolina was nothing but pandering to the black vote, nonstop.
I heard a Biden commercial driving home from North Carolina, and it was just mega cringe.
Well, I mean, it's Biden. Anytime he talks, it's cringeworthy.
Oh, facts.
because you don't know what he's talking about. You don't know where it's going to go. He doesn't even know where it's going to go, to be completely honest. Like sometimes he starts out real strong and it dives real quick, real fast.
Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah, he has that confidence that he sounds great, and it's just not working.
I mean, just like his newest thing that he says he's going to appoint the first black female something. What is it? The first black or first African American.
You sent that to me.
African American woman to the U.S. Senate. First of all,
to the Senate. Yeah. So the first the African American woman to the Senate, and then it's like Trump's already done that, dude.
Well, first of all, you don't appoint people to the Senate; they're elected in the Senate.
Yeah, they're elected.
So he can't even make that claim, even if he wanted to, because it's not up to him. It's a little weird that he thinks he can just appoint senators. And and which is funny too, because last week he said he was running for Senate, not president. Here, in the article, like they bring up the senators aren't appointed by the president, so he's already wrong off there. Like that's the first line of the article. I just don't know where he comes up with this stuff.
Well, it's because I don't think his brain is 100% functional right now. I think he straight up has dementia. Well, it's like starting.
Well, I mean, if you really want to get technical about it, he was running against a black senator, Kamala Harris, before she dropped out of running for president.
Yeah, she's on Senate.
He was on stage with her. I guess he didn't realize she was black and a senator and a female.
He just never put two and two together.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he was just like, he didn't know how it worked. It's funny because he just. Oh man. It's funny because
poor old Joe.
Fuck him. Poor old nothing. He's a
creeper, dude.
He's made
creepy Joe, dude.
Yeah, and he's made his family rich because of the power
Hunter
he's
Biden
had.
Could you imagine making as much as he made in a month? What was it, 50,000?
Yeah, and that's just one of the places he was getting paid every month.
Hey, I'll work for you, and I really don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna kind of hang out. But I demand $50,000 a month. By the way, my dad's the vice president of the United States.
And it's funny because when Hunter did the interview, he said he probably wouldn't have gotten the job if his last name wasn't Biden. So right there, he knows that he's getting these deals because of who he is, not what he can do. And then Biden goes on TV and defends and says his son's never done anything wrong. He's been arrested for drug possession. He was kicked out of the military because of drug possession. He was dating his brother's widow, knocked up a stripper, and now he
just a real winner, you know.
And just got married to another woman. So that was 3 women in his orbit that were all questionable type of people to a guy, you know. So it's like, don't tell me he hasn't done anything wrong. Just like you haven't done anything wrong. Getting money, getting deals for your brothers and your sisters and your kids to make them millionaires throughout the world. And putting them in charge of things that they had no business being in charge of. Give me a fucking break.
Not at all. Not at all. Like zero experience. Just go on in. You got it.
And just because their last name was Biden.
Yep, your last name is Biden. So I mean, what we couldn't say no. We couldn't refuse. And they gave us yeah.
And then they bitch about the Trump kids. It's like, okay, listen, if you haven't done any of that shit in your life, you can maybe bring it up. But when you've made your money doing exactly what you're claiming other people are doing, you need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, for real.
Because you're not fooling anybody with these fucking stories when everybody can fact check you and Biden's just full of false facts. I'm not a fan.
That would be entertaining though as well. To see him go up against Trump and just to see how mad Joe gets. Yeah, but he'd probably have a heart attack.
He probably would. But then would you start feeling bad for like the bully beating up a retard? You know what I mean? Like Trump would
he would eventually just kind of get sad.
Yeah, because Trump would just be throwing all this shit at him and he wouldn't be able to respond. Or he'd start
at all.
He'd start doing his stuttering, and then all of a sudden his brain hits 1945 and he starts talking about, you know, record players and malt shops and shit.
I wonder if he'd accidentally slip the N-word.
Well, see, that's my biggest fear with Trump going up against Buttigieg. Trump dropping, dropping a slur, a homo slur on him, you know.
Yeah. Shut up, fag.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just like,
you're a fag.
He wouldn't say that, but
you don't know. I think Trump's
maybe.
It's funny because people think Trump's fake.
Trump's like team is just like, please, just when you reference Pete Buttigieg, just do not say fag, please.
Well, he already has his handlers deprogramming him to never say that word. Like
you'll never say that word.
Instead of that word,
say fag, ever.
Yeah, he doesn't say fag. He says oranges or something like that. So every time he calls him an orange, you know that's where he was going to go with that.
Yeah, the fruit.
Yeah,
the fruity.
Yeah, see,
fruity beat Buttigieg. Oh, that'd be too much.
But like that's the thing is, I've heard other I listen to a bunch of podcasts on different people, and they've all said the same thing. Trump may be crass and coarse and a dick, but he's a dick.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's fake about it. I just think he's a dick. But he's, he produces. So
you kind of got to be, to do what he's done.
So I don't get how people think he's a racist and all this stuff, because if he was, he would have slipped up by now and said something he shouldn't have said.
No, totally. With the camera and just with how they scrutinize him every day for everything.
Yeah. So I don't think
he is constantly under the radar.
Yeah. So and he would have been caught by now.
Fucking say it.
It's been 3 years. He would have been caught by now.
Yeah, there would have been the Freudian slip.
Yeah. So, but I mean,
that at least you're casual about it.
Yeah. But I mean, for all his faults, he has gotten shit done in this country.
He has, and that's inarguable.
I mean, it's an old saying: actions speak louder than words, and his actions speak volumes over what he says and what he tweets. I mean, I'm not a fan of his tweeting at all. I think he's...
and I'm on kind of the opposite thought process there, because it's like, with how corrupt the media is, honestly, like, we do have a direct link to what he is talking about. You know what I mean?
No, that's where I agree with you on it. I totally think that's why he does it, because there's an unfair bias. But I do think I think he does push it sometimes.
So it's like, why not just use this? Why not just use this as a platform to talk to motherfuckers?
Yeah, well, he does, but he does it. He talks like every other person in America. That's what it is, and people want him to be. He's talked about it. He goes, "I don't speak presidential. That's not what he is."
Yeah,
that's
is that a surprise to you? Have you guys ever watched anything that I've been a part of?
So, I mean, I don't like it because it gives them fodder, because he is crass.
Yeah,
he could say shit in a different way, especially if he's tweeting it, because he can write it, read it, and be like, "Okay, maybe I should phrase it a little bit differently."
Yeah, but he's past that age.
That's true. He is an angry. Well, they're all angry old men. And two angry old bitches.
Yeah, raising that family, dude, and a giant son. Speaking of his family, dude, you see that post about Ivanka? It was just a absolute need to know basis. It was an article written about Ivanka photoshopping the Taj Mahal out of her picture. She just made it a little blurry, right? And there's just a little bit of space in between her arm and her side, and her left side. It's like, where she forgot to blur out that image. So they're like, she blurred the Taj Mahal and made herself clear. And I'm like, dude, is this really newsworthy?
Yeah, but I mean, did she? But see, that's the thing, though, is iPhones have that app, or in the iPhone, when you take a picture, you can blur the background.
The portrait mode. And sometimes, and that was what the article talked about, is like, sometimes portrait mode fucks up. But it's like, why is this news?
Because they have no other things to talk. Because they have nothing else to...
Like that's and it's like, that's when you're talking to people on the other side, like, not trying to convert them all the way and be like, think how I think, but just trying to be like, but have you ever thought of this option?
Oh, see, that's
what I'm saying?
I've never ever wanted people.
And it's like, that's what I'm showing as, like, bro, look at how one-sided they are. Like, they're attacking this family because of this. Are you serious?
Exactly. And if you see the picture,
like, that's what you want to be a part of. Like,
yeah. If you look at the picture, everything's blurred except for the one part that's like underneath her arm. It's very easy to think that the camera didn't see that part as a dimension to blur because of that reason.
It's like, what do you think? She's just using a brush tool and fucking brushing all that blurry?
I don't think she has the time to do that. She's too busy to blur out a whole picture.
Yeah, you kidding me? She's just uploading to Instagram and fucking, all right, let's go.
But I mean, it's the same thing like Trump going to India this past week, and CNN's talking about what he's going to eat because he doesn't eat vegetables. Who cares?
If your news, please fuck off.
Yeah,
and
if your news cycle
let's focus on shit that's important. And then the article goes into all these videos of proof that it does accidentally fuck up sometimes, the camera and these portrait modes. But it's just, dude, you spent how long? Like, think about the money that he's making, and like, think about a job that you do. Mm-hmm. More or less talking to like listeners. You get paid to actually work, and here's this dude that's literally writing an article in Slate, making an article about Ivanka's Instagram picture.
I don't even know how do you even write an article about that?
How does that make you? Probably making more money than a lot of people too.
Oh, making tons of money. And it's just like, how do you write a whole article about that? I would be so bored.
He goes home to family functions. Let's see, who wrote this? Was it a chico or male? Aaron Mack. I guess that's probably a guy being genderist. No, that's not a thing.
A sexist?
But sexist, I guess. Yeah.
You're assuming his pronoun?
Assuming his pronoun, Aaron Mack, whatever. But
is it spelled with two
A's? He's making a lot more money than us, and he's
and has to create this stupid story.
Just writing a bullshit article about Instagram. That Instagram picture being focused.
I mean, it's so stupid, and
Photoshopped.
It's a whole article.
That's the world we live in.
I'm sure this, and it says they had expert opinions. I'm sure they talked to real experts. I'm sure there's real experts.
Reached out, got interviews. And fucking. What do you guys think about these other people's Instagrams and these videos possibly being photoshopped? Could you imagine?
It's like
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so sad.
I'm glad we just bullshit about things and get salty. That's why it's a perfect name of the show.
Well, I mean, if
Salty Boys.
I guess we can.
My blood pressure is a little high from talking about this.
I mean, I guess we couldn't be salty if there weren't idiots in the world writing articles about Instagram photos.
No kidding.
So I mean, I guess we should thank them because hopefully it'll make us money someday. But it's just
hopefully we all die from the coronavirus, or at least a massive amount of people.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I've been
restart things.
I mean, there's been it's like the news has been telling us more people die of the flu every year.
That's a fact because it does seasonally kill more people than the coronavirus has killed in total.
And the coronavirus, I mean, I get,
the coronavirus isn't actually killing anybody though, right? It's like ailments that people have and then they get the coronavirus.
I don't know.
Like people with pneumonia and then freaking.
Well, it
attacks their immune system.
Well, it attacks their immune.
Just would die from whatever they had. The common flu,
It's like getting pneumonia. But even they're saying only the very young and the very old are actually dying of it.
To my gamer bros out there, fucking double damage. They're getting double damage. It's just a damage multiplier.
Yeah,
is what the coronavirus is.
Well, that's what. Yeah, but see, that was the same thing that AIDS does.
Yeah.
You don't die of AIDS. You die of pneumonia or the flu because your body can't.
The flu
because your body can't fight the infection that
diarrhea.
You get. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is more people have died of the swine flu. More people have died of the flu every year. It's going to be a seasonal thing. It's just a disease that we're going to have to deal with now. More people died of bird flu. Now, you want to compare the numbers from America. I mean, they just announced today that they've had the first fatal case in America. But there's still
what was it, in Washington?
Yeah, but there's only been 15 people infected in this entire country with the disease. Yeah. And
meanwhile, everybody has the flu. They're just like,
it's flu season. This is when people get the flu. When there's changes from fall to winter, everybody gets sick. And a lot of people get the flu because the flu is a disease that needs warmth. So what it does is it looks for warm things, and people are warm. So they look for people to get into. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything.
Let me slip into this right here.
Yeah, it's not super science. Point is then you go back to like, oh, well, there's been 2,800 deaths in China. It's China. It's a filthy place. They eat animals off the road.
My cat's trying to get on the podcast.
Oh, I heard about.
I don't know if
dogs.
you heard that.
Yeah, I heard that. Talking about eating the dogs, I got all excited.
Cat's trying to get in on it. She's like, "What you guys getting all pissed off about?"
But it's the point is it's a filthy place with a billion people.
It really is. Dude, and I saw the perfect thing today where it was like this dude basically saying, I can't remember who said it, but I saw it on Facebook. And he was just like, "Hey, Ed, would kind of like to remind everybody that you should be washing your hands every day, not just in case of a fucking pandemic."
Yeah, it's
like
it's just healthy overall. To wash your hands,
hey, wash your hands, you nasty things.
Yeah, you wipe your ass all day, wash your hands once in a while, But but you have 1 billion people in one country. It's gonna spread quickly because there's so many people. They're stacked on top of each other. And then everyone likes to talk about stats and numbers. 2,800 is a large number of people, but when you break it down statistically to 1 billion people, that's less than 1% of the population.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks to say, but it's the truth. Now, that's if the numbers coming out of China are true because you can't trust the Chinese.
Yeah, you cannot trust. Yeah, let's just go ahead and listen to that communist freaking propaganda that they spew in on their TVs. I'm sure that's the truth.
There's a reason why protesters in other countries carry American flags and praise Donald Trump is because they know what it's like to live in communism.
Well, and then let's not forget that was all going on right before this all kicked off.
Yeah, exactly.
With the coronavirus. Which I've seen a couple conspiracy things about that right there.
Yeah. I think it's funny that a lot of the diseases that people get sick from and have like these mini pandemic things happen come out of China. Just saying. It's a little weird and convenient to me.
Yeah, well, they also do a lot of nasty things there with their food and shit that's not really sanitary.
Well, they eat wild animals as delicacies.
Yeah. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in the environments that these animals live into are
when you
fucking
keep them when you keep them in open crates on the road, it's probably not the healthiest way.
It's probably not the healthiest thing for these animals. Yeah. Like, let's be real.
No, exactly.
It's not like a big wide open farm or, actual wildlife in nature.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why our food, you go into all that about how our food is made here, but it is healthier. There are regulations.
Yeah, there is a shit ton of regulation. Like, you would get sued and lose everything if somebody got sick.
Exactly.
Off your shit. But then that's also why they have the big industry has insurance and shit like that.
But that's also too, like, when something happens in this country, they stop selling it.
Yeah, you get the shit suit out of you. Somebody pulls out their phone, records a video, and your fucking life's over.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's funny that the media really is spreading all this false information about the coronavirus, because they've been trying to destroy Trump's presidency for 3 years now, and it finally is working because of the hysteria. The stock market's been dropping, and it all has to do with the coronavirus. They couldn't do anything up until now. Now that they see it's worked, they're just pushing it. They're just doubling down on everything coronavirus.
Yeah, and dude, fear-mongering is real as fuck right now. And it's just everything. Every third post on Facebook is something about the coronavirus.
And if you do just a little bit of research, you know that it sucks. It's not great, and you have to be careful. But it's not the fucking pandemic, epidemic that they're claiming it's going to be, or it is.
Speaking of Mission Impossible, fucking coronavirus is the actual Mission Impossible. They stopped filming in Italy. Tom Cruise just had enough of it, dude.
Oh, that's good.
Got holed up in his freaking hotel room and said, "I don't want to film this anymore because I want to get sick."
Well, that's because he's a phony action hero.
It's Tom Cruise. And he won't come out the closet.
Yeah, if he was a real action hero, it wouldn't matter. So I mean, that's one good thing that's come out of the coronavirus. We won't have another Mission Impossible movie with 4-foot Tom Cruise.
Yeah, little baby Tom Cruise.
With his Scientology, propaganda.
Which, if people, I guess, could join our Discord, while they're listening to this or whatever, and see what we're talking about here. But on the article itself, Tom Cruise, the motorcycle that he's riding, is actually a little action hero toy, not a real motorcycle. It's a tiny little bike. It's like one of those little ones that you get as you're a little kid, the little pocket rocket ones.
Well, I think how many of these stupid movies have they made? Like, I'm not a Mission Impossible fan.
Well, this is supposed to be 7.
So they've made 6 other.
7.
They've made 6 other shitty movies. Why can't we just stop?
Yep.
Maybe Darwinism is telling us something to stop making these movies by infecting Italy.
Why is a midget saving the world?
Over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
And the thing that always cracks me up is the way they film it. You would think that he's 6'5".
Oh yeah.
Like a big dude.
Yeah, he's tiny little guy.
He's just a little guy.
I think the only time they've ever really made a movie where he was the actual size he was Far and Away, because he was playing a little tiny Irish guy. So I think that's the only time that they were like, "Oh wow, you're only 5 foot. This works perfect for this movie."
This is perfect. What is his actual size?
I don't care.
You
know what's stupid about these movies too is 90% of these Mission Impossible movies are all done in front of a green screen.
He's 5'7". He's 5'7". So I mean,
he's still short.
He's pretty short.
But I still think it's funny that it's why did you go to Italy if most of it's in green screen? You can recreate Italy with a green screen. They talked about, I think it was 4.
No, it's because he wanted a vacation in Italy.
That's exactly why.
While filming the movie.
Because I really think in 4 or 5, they were talking about 90% of the movie was green screen.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, then why do you need to go anywhere? You can do it in a Hollywood studio if it's all... it's so funny, the Marvel movies are the same way. They go to like Budapest and shit like that, and then you see the behind the scenes. It's all green screen and wires.
It's all green screen. There might be like one part of it that's filmed like actually on location, but the rest of it's all green screen. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, so
that's how real we are.
So you have to hike up this budget to send the whole crew to a country for 3 months for a vacation to shoot like 5 scenes. And then they can go back and do the green screen stuff whenever they want to.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm glad they stopped filming it. I hope it never comes out.
Well, then now we know what mission is impossible, right?
Yeah. Well, that and two, making people believe he's heterosexual.
Coronavirus and any pandemic, any like, you know, I kind of wish it was something lesser. That would have been funnier, but
like a stub toe.
Yeah, he stubbed his toe.
I can't continue.
Yeah, didn't even break it, but he like severely bruised it.
And it was happened when he got up at night to go pee. He just kicked it on the table.
Yeah, it just was really sore. It throbbed when he took steps.
And then you got guys like Jackie Chan who break his leg and wraps it and still goes back to this. Yeah, we're going back to this.
I'm on contract. better keep going.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. The old company I worked for was a motorcycle company, and they did motorcycle equipment and safety apparel. We had a picture in the warehouse that I had found online of him and the head of Scientology wearing our gear.
Really?
Yeah, and we printed it out and put it up on the wall because we thought it was funny as hell that the head of Scientology liked our stuff.
It's just wearing some motorcycle stuff.
Yeah, it's Mastiff or something. Yeah, he was wearing motorcycle leathers, and it had our logo. It had our logo and name on it. It was clearly from our stuff.
Oh, that's hilarious!
And it was
that out in California?
Yeah, it was out in California. What I was doing before I moved out here, and
that's fucking hysterical.
It was funny. The guy that worked in the warranty department, he had been working there for like 10 years or something crazy like that, and he told me about it. And it was my mission to find that picture online. And I found it, and I printed it up and put it up on the wall, like a little picture, like it was framed and everything. So it was always a joke that we had the head of Scientology was a fan and bought our stuff.
Yeah, he's a big fan of our stuff. Yeah. Where's our shit all the time?
Yeah, when he's not fighting aliens, he's riding the motorcycles.
Well, you'd probably definitely want to be wearing your leathers when you're boning in space. That's what this scientist article from futurism.com was talking about, is how fucking we're going to be sending people into outer space, dude. They got a bone. They gotta get their bone on.
Now they're talking about actual sex, right? Not just like jerking off.
Yeah, no, they're talking about actual sex, but like I'm not sure if they want to like send people that are down with that, like little fucking space prostitution. Do you think there's prostitution laws in space?
I don't know. They have international. I mean, they have the international laws in the water. What is it?
Outer space laws?
No,
do countries have the right to make laws in outer space?
Well, when you get on boats, there's the laws on the water, like the laws don't apply.
Like nautical rules?
Yeah, like there's
laws of the sea.
Yeah, like there's like I don't remember what it's called, but there's a thing where you know, laws don't apply if so many miles out to sea of a country.
Poseidon's neutrality.
See, that's what it should be called.
That really is what it should be called.
But it's like, international, like it's like international waters.
International laws.
If you're in
international waters.
If you're in the international waters.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the like laws are suspended. So I mean, if you're, in space, obviously you're way outside the realm of laws. But would they just send hookers up to space?
They're being so silly in this article. Dry spell, mission Uranus. Deep space, talking about all this crazy shit.
Which is funny because it was probably just some guy watching.
They're talking about what they're kind of leaning towards, though, is AI-enabled sex robots, because that's just the way we're going.
Well, they already have sex robots on Earth.
Well, I'm sure NASA space fucking sex robots are a step above. These astronauts will come home not even want to look at humans.
Well, you see, it would have to be like robots, or you'd have to be like...
No, I stay in space with my girlfriend, Karen.
Well, it is nerds that get in the space program, so they'd probably be used to want to have sex
stay
with
up
robots.
Here with Karen. She knows me very well.
But if it would have to be robots.
Yeah.
Because then you run a real risk of like impregnating women up in space.
Yeah, could you imagine? Well, now you're gonna have to give birth to this baby in space.
Yeah, and then they're not of this world. They're like space babies.
And imagine the immigration for that.
Yeah, right. I mean, they let all the white ones in.
Where were you born? I was just right outside international fucking space. proximity.
Yeah, I was born in the International Space Station.
Yeah. What's up?
It's like you'd
what
be
am I?
You know that you'd be an alien because you'd not be of this
first,
world.
Yeah, you'd be the first human. What is it? Alien on record.
Yeah, because you're not of Earth. You were born in space.
A space baby. Imagine that.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, but space isn't real, right?
No, well, the Earth's flat. No one's ever been out, all that stuff. Which is funny because the guy who's been blowing up rockets in the desert.
Yeah, that dude died,
He died, yeah. He died
blew himself up. He exploded.
I think it was in November, December. He finally, bit the big one on one of his rockets trying to prove the Earth was flat.
So now why are you riding in these instead? Because really, if you think it's a dome, right? Because that's what the flat earthers think.
Yeah.
They think there's just a big dome.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be an inevitable crash against the dome.
Well, maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe he wanted to crash into the dome.
You know what I mean? So, was he just going to do it as a if I die, you'll see the dome thing?
I have no idea. What I don't understand is, he's already done it before. I mean, what else does he need? What is he trying? Like you said, what is he trying to prove? He's already built rockets and shot up in the air.
Yeah. Well, if that's my thought process is if you think it's a dome, that would mean that there's something solid at the very top. So why not just shoot rockets, like small rockets that can go far and then explode? Once they hit something.
No, exactly. No, you're
to see where this dome is. Why send yourself in the cockpit?
But then you're talking about people who don't have rational thought to begin with.
It's like being a suicide bomber, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Be careful and watch this very closely because I'm only going to do it once.
And still, this whole biggest thing about flat earthers to me is no one's ever told me why.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing is we're so stupid as a society nowadays is that nobody can explain anything really.
But, I mean, there's got to be, if you believe that the Earth is flat and it's a big conspiracy, there has to be an underlying reason why you think there's a conspiracy and why they want people to think the Earth is flat.
Yeah, what's the point of it being flat?
If it's flat or round, it doesn't matter. We're still here. So there has to be a reasoning behind it.
What is it? It freaking houses the elite. There's secret fucking islands and shit out there.
Yeah, but once again, the Earth could be round or flat.
That's the thought process behind why they would hide it.
But still, that doesn't.
There's a massive land somewhere, and that's where all the elites go to do all their demonic shit.
But flat or round, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein already had an island, so I mean, it already existed.
That was known. People knew that was his island.
But the point is flat or round, those things would still exist. These secret society things, or whatever you want to call them.
Oh, totally.
So
totally.
The flat or round to me doesn't make any difference as long as it still exists.
Yeah.
But yet, it's a big fucking deal with no proof or with no reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
And I
totally agree.
Which I've done my fair share of research and watching these weird YouTube videos and documentaries about.
No, well, I mean it's fun. It's time consuming and it's interesting to hear what people say about things.
But that's always been my reasoning behind watching this stuff is I want to know why. To me,
what's the fucking point?
Because it doesn't matter. You're still living here.
It really doesn't. We're still we everything that anybody's saying is already true and happening.
Yeah.
We're already not free. We're lied to. We're definitely not free to do whatever the fuck we want because there's laws for everything. And then with how expensive everything is and life in general, it's just miserable in this society today.
I think it has to do with the mentality of these people because a flat earther is a conspiracy theorist. They believe everything's a conspiracy. So it has to go from
it's just how deep does the fucking rabbit hole go?
But it has to go, it's how deep does it go and how wide is it? So you can't get any wider than the Earth being flat.
Well, and then my big thing with that was Owen Benjamin, the dinosaurs, right? What's the fucking, who cares? Did you ever get into his shit with that?
No.
Just saying that dinosaurs didn't exist, basically. And I was just what? Why does it matter if dinosaurs existed or if they didn't?
Yeah, but there's proof. There's bones.
Yeah, absolutely.
So something existed. Maybe you don't want to call it dinosaurs. But
and that's the thing is that it was just fake. That's the argument is how do you know they're real dinosaurs? And it's where is the science? How do you determine that?
Yeah,
if it was a real thing or not.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's also too is like, how did people get here? Everything can be spun into a conspiracy. Like a lot of people think.
Oh, it totally can, and it attracts people that fucking are super gullible.
I mean, you got to look at it this way too. Is like, look at the planet that we live on. People are completely different and alien to the other creatures on this planet. Other creatures on this planet have similarities. We have no similarities to animals.
Nothing. Yeah, we have zero similarities.
So it's easy to argue that we weren't here to begin with and we're put here.
Uh-huh.
And then you can spin off to a million fucking ideas on that.
Well, what is religion?
Well, it's another thing. It's if you go back about 2,000 years with our recordable history, that's all you're gonna really know because it was recorded. Anything past like 5 or 6,000.
Well, anything past that you can't really trust because it's been you don't observed by somebody else.
Yeah, you don't know what was really
down in there with their own bias and with their own fucking stank on it.
Everybody puts their own spin on every story they tell.
Exactly.
You never hear the truth about anything. So it's just funny to me. It's just like, but you can really go off on the human thing because we are completely alien to this planet if you go by the animals that live on this planet. Why are we not like
how
them?
Everything interacts with each other and
how come we're so more sophisticated mentally? I mean, kind of. We're smarter than most animals.
Definitely smarter than monkeys.
Oh,
but monkeys are pretty smart.
Yeah, but as a society, we're fucking idiots.
Yeah, we're moronic. But, I mean, that's just recently happened, honestly. Because I feel I've been just getting really into that 3-part series on the History Channel, George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit, it's like, dude, those guys, just the way they spoke and wrote, like, I mean, you can see it in our national documents, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, how everything was worded and how well their like handwriting was.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're so far devolved from even then.
Well, that's
even though it's like in comfort we're far superior.
Well, that's because at that time they were scholars and aristocrats and artists.
Yeah,
now we have a smartphone in our pocket that can tell us everything that we've become. What it is we've become slaves to technology, which means we're not as smart as we used to be.
Which is crazy, where we have all this access to more information.
Well, it's crazy too. We have access to the entire world, but depression's up, loneliness is up in this world. Yep. People feel more alone than ever.
Anxiety is a fucking thing.
And how do you feel that way when the whole world is exposed to at your fingertips? How do you feel alone?
You're constantly weighing yourself against other people and how they're living their lives and fucking, judging your own, I guess, happiness off other people.
Yeah, because you don't really accomplish anything.
No, not at all.
You're not gaining knowledge. You're not gaining, life experience. You're experiencing a world through a screen. I've known people in my life that are like that, especially people that are younger, like in their mid-20s or early 20s. They see everything through a screen. They don't experience real life. So it's easy to feel alone.
The boomers are getting really bad with it right now too.
Well, it's because
which what I've noticed is they've gone their entire lives without. It's just like overwhelming.
But they're catching up to the world that they live in.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to adjust to the world.
Yeah.
It's hard to, you can go off there's people but it's funny because even when people go off the grid, they do TV shows about people who go off the grid. So they're still part of the technology.
Do you understand the fucking irony in that?
Yeah, a lot of people don't. They're just like, well, like these shows like Naked and Afraid. These people get totally naked and go live out in the woods, but they're not by themselves. There has a camera crew.
Yeah, they have a whole camera crew there.
And they're telling a story.
Hanging out with them. Probably like catered.
Yeah, it's like
off camera. They're like getting meals and like going and staying at the Best Western like across the street from this fucking field that they're filming at.
But it's funny when you see these people get like injured. There was one where this woman was laying down by a fire and the pot was boiling and it splashed on her. Like it fell off the fire and like burned her. And the guy with the camera's watching this happen the entire time and says nothing.
Just like. You're just not going to do anything, bro?
Yeah, it's just a weird, you become so, it was like he wasn't like dealing with a real person. Because he's looking through his screen because he's got the camera.
Yeah, totally.
So his reality is augmented because he's not viewing it with his eyes, he's viewing it through his screen still. It's just weird.
Scary. There's been a couple, what are those Black Mirror shows? There's a Black Mirror that goes, these people are like, I can't remember how it starts. They're like, they've been kidnapped or something like that, and then they like wake up and then suddenly everybody's just like recording them on their phones.
Yeah.
And like they don't interact with them at all. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
No, I've heard.
It's pretty trippy.
I've heard about.
And it's like one of those
Twilight
things where it's
Zone.
like, I mean, we're not at that level, but I could see us going to that.
Well, they did an episode of the show the Orville, which is Seth MacFarlane's like kind of like Star Trek show that's on Fox, and they did an episode where everything revolves around social media. So people actually go to prison and will be executed if their social media numbers go down, because they basically vote to keep you alive or kill you. And it's all through social media. Like your currency is your likes and your dislikes and the thing. And so everything you do throughout the day is recorded on your phone, and it's broadcast to the world.
China does a little something like that, just not as extreme, obviously.
Oh yeah. Not yet.
They have like a social score and shit like that.
Oh yeah,
I think there's a Black Mirror episode of that too.
Yeah, I've heard about
where they
their
have like a social score.
Yeah,
chick can't like get on a plane or something like that because her social score is like too low, and she's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
And like in live time, her social score is going low because she's like having a public outrage.
But that's like what we're talking about though. Like it's like people crave likes and trending and
Well, I mean, it would be a great way to control.
Yeah.
Nowadays, which I could totally see that happening. Which in that case, like Mad Max is fucking happening.
Yeah, but like going viral is a huge deal.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
For what? You don't.
We had that little post today go all viral.
Yeah, which I don't understand. I still don't get why it went viral.
Just some random Joe Biden meme.
Yeah,
just 20,000 people reached. Like, whoa, okay.
And the funny part was,
woke up to that this morning.
Yeah, and the funny part was I shared it. It wasn't even like our original post. I just shared it on the Salty Boys page, and for whatever reason.
And if you click on it, it looks like it's just a Salty Boys post.
Yeah, I don't even know how that.
We're at 19,881 for this moment in the podcast.
Yeah, like every time I've checked my phone, it keeps going up. So it's like people love it because it's
hilarious.
True. But it's something I say all the time. That's why I thought it was funny.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's, he's like, your government has failed you. It's like, bro, you've been in government for your entire life pretty much.
So that means you failed us, so why would we vote for you?
Yeah, so why would we vote? Like, what is your reasoning?
Yeah, like you're proving your point.
Saying this. Rookie mistake.
So yeah, we had that stupid picture trending, and I go viral. I whatever it's called. And I'm not really good with, like I was saying, I was not really good with social media. But this dude in
North Carolina.
This guy, he's a reporter, is he a reporter or is he a weatherman?
Television news reporter. Yeah.
Television news reporter.
He was discussing his first snowfall of the season. It was a super unexpected snowstorm too. Like randomly, we just got like shit on. I was in North Carolina when it started snowing. I drove home and I was like, oh, this is miserable.
Yeah, it was just.
But like being from Colorado, it really wasn't that big of a deal. But like the people were freaking out.
Well, it's funny how it's a big deal in Colorado when everyone knows snow's coming at some point.
Yeah.
And they're all
well, I mean, it's all of those disaster situations, right? So the grocery stores are just packed full of people. Well, and getting all of the water and freaking.
It's funny because
you guys are going a little overkill for.
I've actually only been in Colorado. Today is actually my 4-year anniversary of moving to Colorado. Like we got here on leap year day. Even in 4 years, I figured out that it's going to snow in Colorado. But it still seems to surprise other people that it's going to snow.
Well, it's all the people, the first timers, the first time they've moved there from a warmer climate area. They're like, oh shit, like you guys don't fuck around with we get snow. Yeah, sometimes. But we have mild ass summer or winters. Where, it's just like off and on, not really a lot of snow. I mean, you get a hell of a lot more than where I was living.
Well, yeah, because I live in the mountains.
But, we get those freak snowstorms every once in a while. Like, I was in Parker during that bomb cyclone that went off. That was pretty crazy. It was in May?
Yeah, because I came down to your place just after it happened. And there was still,
right after it happened, right?
Yeah, there was still ice on the roads and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the sun was out. It was weird. Like I came like afterwards.
It's all sunny and warm, but like snow.
But yeah, but you could skate places.
But those are the winters in Colorado, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, aside from like where you're at, Estes Park, where it'll just dump on you, and you're like, this is my life for a little bit.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 months, off and on.
Exactly, being in the mountains.
Well, it's funny because
this is how it is.
We've had
and us when we're all nice and bright and sunny and 65, we're looking at the mountains going, ooh, those look pretty dark.
Yeah, what's funny
you're just true. Like I'm in the middle of it. So
well, yeah, it's funny because I grew up in Southern California. I've never seen snow like this ever,
Yeah.
And we get snow. It's
incredible. I mean, Big Bear gets snow.
Yeah, but you got to go to Big Bear.
And
I don't live.
I mean,
Big
it's
Bear.
basically Estes Park now.
Yeah,
at this point.
That's the great part.
It's expensive. It's expensive. Everything's fucking way too expensive. It's a tourist attraction. Yeah. So in season, like, people are just all over the place. You know, they have events and shit out there, and it's just miserable to get to because there's two ways in, 2 ways out.
Yeah, and there's always something shut down too because they're always working on something.
Yeah,
and they always do it in the summertime.
Yeah, there's
when it's busy.
the fifth season. The fifth season in Colorado is construction.
Yeah, well, that's true everywhere. That's the way it is in LA. It was funny.
Yeah, it's everywhere you go.
Because when I
was driving home yesterday, or not yesterday. It was Thursday, and I saw this lady merging onto the highway, but there was so many cones and shit because of all this construction that they had going on. She was like confused as to, you know, where is she supposed to merge.
Well, she was a woman driver.
And she stopped, and there was about 4 people that about hit her. One dude in a freaking in a Subaru about hit her going like 45, 50 miles an hour.
See, I've
swerved and like hit a bunch of cones and shit. I was like, damn, all right. Well, for one, don't ever stop on the highway, you know, unless you have to stop.
And it's incredible,
especially not in a merge lane when there's only one lane and everything's cones.
Well, see, that's the thing is like I don't know if I'm like the last person with common sense when it comes to driving, because like if I miss an exit, guess what? I'm getting off on the next exit and turning around.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And now there's videos online where people stop in the highway and will back up to get to their exit.
Oh, hell no. I'm like, are you trying to die?
Yeah,
that was one of the things that tripped me out driving home in this like sleet storm that they had in North Carolina. There was a dude that just like pulled over on the fast lane. Like 3/4 of his car was in the fast lane. And that's where he had pulled over on the side of the road.
Yeah, well,
I was just like, bro, are you trying to die tonight? Because that's how you die.
But see,
you know, two cars, one in the fast lane that, you know, doesn't see you or whatever, can't fucking pull over because somebody's right next to him.
Yeah,
you're toast. Your whole car is getting ripped up by a truck, because that's mainly what's driven out here is a bunch of trucks.
And then you've just ruined everybody else's day behind you.
Exactly. It's like wild. You know, I saw people spun out like when there wasn't even that much snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, how? I mean, I guess the ice gets real bad because it does get below 32, so the ice freezes on the roads. But
yeah, but
they do get a shit ton of rain. But it's like, come on, guys.
You should be used to it.
You
should know how to handle it because you live there. You adapt to your surroundings.
Yeah.
Or you're supposed
to. Look at us getting salty when we're supposed to be talking about a guy fucking around with social media.
We went from snow
trying to report. See, that's just us being salty.
That's what the show's all about. So anyway, this guy was doing.
Play the audio. Let's just go.
Let me play the audio.
Let's go.
He's at Justin
Hello,
W.
Justin Hinton, coming to you live from Madison County, a snowy Madison County. A lot of snow has certainly fallen and has fallen. If you take a look at the ground, you can see it's covered.
There's a lot of snow, apparently.
Really the first legitimate.
And I mean, you're looking at this. You're being from Estes Park, you're watching this video, going like,
that's not a lot of snow. Yeah, that's not a lot of snow.
About that and
so anyway, this guy's on the side. So this guy, Justin, whatever his name is on the side of the road doing a news report, and he's doing it on Facebook Live. And I'm assuming he's using a cell phone. But someone's taking.
So whoever's recording that, unless he has it like propped up against something, like I mean, maybe the dude that's driving the van is just like, yeah, fuck you, dude. I'm chilling in the warm car.
No, he's got someone holding it because when he talks about the snow on the ground, the camera pans to the ground.
Oh, okay. So yeah, somebody is legitimately looking at the screen and sees this stuff happening.
As he's doing it, it's filtering filters through his news report. So he's got bug eyes. He's wearing a Optimus Prime helmet at one point. He's got like dumbbells and what's like we were talking about earlier.
My favorite one is the Gandalf beard.
Yeah, and he's got a long
wizard hat.
Which is funny because I don't know shit about phones, and I assume that.
You got a real boomer mentality when it comes to cell phones, or what?
Well, yeah, because all I know is I know Snapchat has filters, But this guy's on Facebook Live.
Filters.
That's the only thing I know that has those filters that make your face do weird shit. But this guy was on Facebook Live on his phone, but he has filters and they're scrolling through. So aren't you supposed to pick one and stick with it? So I'm thinking that the guy who was, or lady, whoever it was, she, it, whatever their pronoun was, who's filming him talking is scrolling through different filters.
Well, what's hilarious is if you read the Facebook post or the Instagram post he had on it with like that collage of all the pictures that came up on him, he says the dude that was recording the photo that he was working with said something about the screen having weird faces. He didn't elaborate. So the guy's like, hey, just to let you know, there's some weird faces popping up. And he's like, yeah, dude, no problem.
The photog I was working with said something about the screen having weird faces. He didn't elaborate, so I said it wouldn't probably go away. Needless to say, it did not go away. I didn't realize it until I stepped off camera and saw the comments where people were talking about the faces. My boss's coworkers, friends, PIOs, and more called text saying how funny it was. So here we go. It was, if you can't laugh at yourself, what is the point of laughter? I hope you enjoyed the snow day.
He's like,
But really, did he?
That sucks.
I mean, he fucked up, but did he really fuck up? Because now people...
now everybody's talking about it,
yeah,
and everybody's watching it, and it's getting views, and he's like...
Yeah, he's some local weather guy in, North Carolina.
And suddenly they're getting national fucking coverage.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
do some more of that, bro.
And it wasn't offensive. And people knew what it was.
Oh, no, it was that shit that you would see growing up on, like, the Today's Show.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what a silly guy. We got to have him on here and interview.
Exactly.
It's probably going to be a good little jump start on his career.
Yeah, exactly. He'll give, he's obviously wanting to move up in his career because no one wants to do weather in North Carolina.
Yeah, not really.
But the Bug Eye one is the best one, I think.
It can be pretty sometimes, but I miss my mountain towns of Colorado.
Yeah, but I mean, it's weather. Who likes to do weather? Who likes to talk about weather?
Yeah, those guys get paid bank though.
Yeah, but
that'd be an easy job.
But you have to go to school to get a
I
fake
think it might
degree.
be cool in situations where it's like you can film a tornado from kind of far away and get like some cool footage.
Yeah, but
that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, but those are like
dangerous, but that's part of the adrenaline rush that I'm sick and depraved and crave.
Yeah, but those are like scientists. Those aren't meteorologists that work for TV. Those are guys that work for
storm chasers.
They work for like.
Well, what was it? You remember going through media school? What was that thing that Bob Carson had us do, the weather beast or whatever from 7 News, I think it was.
It's Fox has the Weather Beast.
Or Fox, yeah. You had to do a commercial for the Weather Beast.
Which I see up here. It's funny.
And they had that for, Channel 7 or whatever it was. Yeah. Channel 9.
Tornado watchers and shit like that aren't local news guys. They're usually scientists who work at like an actual
like
weather
let us
facility.
Get your Weather Beast.
Yeah, exactly.
The pros are in town.
Yeah, exactly.
They ain't sticking interns on that thing.
Yeah, they're not...
just take the Weather Beast and go out there and record that tornado.
Yeah, exactly. They don't use the beast for the local weather.
I think this has been a pretty good episode.
I think so too. Like you said, we got salty.
Shake the cracks out.
Yeah, the cobwebs.
Dust off our shoulders. And
yeah, I think we
kick all the cobwebs out.
I mean, we kicked through a lot of stories. Maybe
kind of sped through them. But what's going to be real fun is when we have fans listening in live and are able to interact while we're talking about it, bringing up points of their own.
Yeah, and it's like if you're listening and do enjoy the show, please share the show with whoever.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you can email us at saltyboyspodcast@gmail.com. That's SALTYBOIS boys podcast.
And hey, if your fucking story is cool enough, we'll get you on the show. We'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be fun.
I'd rather talk to normal people.
Hearing other people besides just our two ugly voices.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want to talk to other salty folks because there's plenty of them out
listening to us retards.
Yeah, exactly. And
let's get somebody with freaking a little bit of intelligence in here.
And of course, follow us, like our page on Facebook. It's at the Salty Boys, and we'll get an Instagram up soon. We'll get the website up. Just as we had to build our content before we can build all that stuff. So, like I said, we'll be coming weekly. I might do like a small little like a 10-minute like little news podcast throughout the week. I haven't decided yet if I have the time because I'm life gets in the way sometimes. But we will be coming weekly with the Salty Boys podcast. And like I said, we don't know what...
We need to get our little fucking night circle of dudes that we trust to share the show out to people and to be moderators and shit like that. Maybe that's what we'll call our moderators when we start getting a following, is the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah, there we go. We need our
the salt of the earth.
Yeah, there we go.
The salt of the earth.
The salties of the earth, exactly.
Pete.
But if you have any other, I mean, like you said, follow us on Facebook, email us. If you got any great stories you want us to talk about or get our opinions on,
and we're open to anything.
Yeah, we'll
really.
talk about anything. I mean, this was.
There's no rhyme or reason for this. We're just homies that miss each other and want to start some shit.
Exactly.
So, there's that.
For James Milcherson, this is Pete Capuletti, and this is the Salty Boys podcast.
Have a good one.